Okay, the next dinim are the dinim of davening, the davening of Shabbos. Okay, so normally it's preferred to daven Ma'ariv at the proper time, at nightfall, that you should say Shema and Ma'ariv. But Shabbos, because of the Kedusha of Shabbos, you're allowed to bring Shabbos in earlier. But it can be earlier than we learn Plaga Mincha, which is again an hour and a quarter of halachic hours before sundown. That's the earliest you could bring Shabbos in. You can't light candles before that. You can't daven Ma'ariv before that. So even though many people daven late during the week, but on Friday night they could daven a little bit earlier. Now, the Ma'ariv begins, the custom is with L'chun Ranano. Okay? How does that get L'chun Ranano to Friday night? So the Medrash says that Adam Rishon was created Friday afternoon. If the day was 6 to 6, Gemara in Sanhedrin goes hour by hour, the sixth day of creation, what Hashem created in each one of the hours. So Adam Rishon was created, let's say 6 to 6, it was created 9 hours into the day at 3 o'clock. Afterwards, after Adam and Chava were created, Adam Rishon gathered all the animals of the world, all the creatures of the world, and he said, L'chun Ranano Hashem, let's go sing praise to Hashem. Noriel to Yeshena. Let's thank the one that made us. Okay, so that's where the origin. I mean, it's a Tillim, obviously. Chunaranan is in Tillim, but the reason why it's said in Ma'ariv, not if it's a Friday night, because Adam Rishon said that as an introduction to Shabbos. It's also customary in many places, as we learned already, that you say Pasach Aliyahu. Some people say Shir Hashirim. The Baal Shem Tov instituted to say chapter 107, which is Haidu, what we call Haidu and Pasach Aliyahu, because that parak of Tillim says about the 4 people that have to bench Gomel. It's the people that traveled in the Midbar, that traveled in the sea, people in prison, people that were sick. So the Baal Shem Tov said, when you survive the week, and you're about to go into Shabbos, so you want to thank Hashem, it's like benching Gomel. Thanking Hashem that we survived the week and now we're entering into Shabbos. So that's why the Baal Shem Tov instituted, say, kapitel. So basically the Chassidic world does it, the non-Chassidic world doesn't do it. But they say Kuf Zayin, and Pasach Aliyahu, which also talks about the 10 spheres and all of those things. Okay, so now, yeah. Okay, right away, you bring down, when did they start saying L'chun Ranano to Friday night? He said approximately in the year 5,000, year like 5,100, like 700-800 years ago. That's what when they instituted saying L'chun Ranano.
Who instituted that?
It's a deacon at that time. The one that did it was really the Ramak, Ramesha Kudavero. Now, Lochadeidi was made up by Reb Shlomo Alkovitz, was one of the colleagues of the Arizal. That's why L'chun Ranano, if you look at the acronyms, it's goes L'Shlomo, all the. So that he was the one that made the Lochadeidi, which is very holy tefillah that everybody says. In some places, an interesting minig, a lot of places even today do that if there's, God forbid, a mourner that was sitting shiva during the week, so they come into shul by like L'chun Ranano, and then they go out to meet them, and bring them into the shul. But not in the Hasidic circles, they don't do that. Because Shabbos, there's no sign of mourning whatsoever. Now, another interesting thing, when you go back Boy V'Sholim, you go turn backwards. Now, why do you go turn backwards? It's not backwards. You're supposed to, normally in most places we face east. So we go facing west. If let's say, wherever you are, Boy V'Sholim, you're supposed to be facing west. Why do you go? Because Boy V'Sholim Atarud Baile, you're welcoming the Shabbos queen. Now, when does Shabbos begin? When the sun sets. Where does the sun set? In the west. So where is Shabbos coming in? Shabbos is coming in. That's the reason why we do these things. Everything has a reason, huh? And what happens? The entrance is here? No. You go face west, because that's where the sun sets and that's where Shabbos comes. So you say, Boi b'sholem ateres baila, you know. Boi kala, boi chala. That's the welcoming of the Shabbos. So you face west because that's where the sun sets. And the sun sets, you bring in Shabbos that way. So the question is why a lot of people say Gam b'simcha v'tzola, our nusach is Gam b'rino v'tzola, and except on Yom Tov, then we see Gam b'simcha v'tzola. Because Shabbos is not simcha, Yom Tov is simcha. Shabbos is einig and rino. So we don't say Gam b'rino b'simcha v'tzola because it's b'rino v'tzola. Shabbos is rino, not simcha. What? No, so what direction are they facing?
West.
I don't know. This is the Rebbe down in Svar. I don't know if you're in where you are, where you're facing. I don't know, but that's the reason why you face west. Yeah, but that's for davening. But for this, you're welcoming when Shabbos is coming. Where's Shabbos coming from? When the sun sets. The sun sets in the west, anywhere in the world. That's why you face west. What?
When there's some people that sit for the Halevi, if they're in a tzibur that everyone's standing, do they have to stand as well? Or vice versa, if they're in a place where everyone's sitting?
The reason why some people sit is because it's not something you have to stand by. So if you don't have to stand by it, but because it's such a holy tefillah, made up with about Shlomo Alkovitz, so we stand. In the Hasidic world, they all stand. In the non-Hasidic world, some stand, some sit. So that's a different question. If you're in a shul where everybody says tachnun, but you don't, do you say or don't you say? Or if you're in a shul where everybody says tachnun and you don't for that particular day, do you or don't you? So there's a lot of, it's a big halachic discussion because it's a din al-tifresh min ha-tzibur. Now to separate yourself from the tzibur. So the question is basically who, what, when, where, and how we do it, how you do it, how you don't do it. There's a concept of Godel HaSholem that shouldn't be fights. If that's going to cause a fight, then for sure you're not allowed to do it. But that's it. Technically, if the tzibur all stand, yes, an individual shouldn't be the only one sitting. What? Okay, that's not for now. There's an answer, the Rebbe has answers about that, this print already. I'm telling there's a letter from the Rebbe in Sha'alacha Minig or Shulchan Menachem or in Bakalukot Tasiches. It's not for now. Okay, another thing is, now normally we say, by a regular ma'av during the week, we say Hashkivenu. Okay? We say Baruch Atah Hashem, Shomer Rasama Yisrael Lo'ad. Hashem should watch us. In Shabbos, we don't say that. We say, Ufreis Aleinu Sukkah Shlomecha, Baruch Atah Hashem, Ma'poreis Sukkah Sholem Aleinu V'Alkola. We don't speak about Shmira. So normally at night, which is the time of the Gevura and the devils and the demons, and like we said, why does the person feel sicker at night than they do during the day? So medically, you ask the doctors. But according to Torah and Kabbalah, because Chesed is, day is Chesed and night is Gvura. So because night is Gvura, so Gvura, automatically you feel worse than you do during the day. So if you have an illness, you feel worse at night. But that's, so normally at night you need Shmira. But Shabbos itself is a Shmira. Shabbos is a Shmira. So therefore we don't say Shemer Asami Yisolah because we don't need a Shmira. Another thing is, and if you notice, if you read the Siddur, not like people do, Friday night, in that bracha, so at night, even Kitzur brings down these. Some people, which is definitely according to Kabbalah, at night you say V'yanuchu va, Kol Yisrael. In Shachris and Musaf you say V'yanuchu voi, Beis Vav. And by Shalosh Shudas you say V'yanuchu bom. Okay, so this, according to Kabbalah, ones, and if you look even in the Siddur with the Kiddush, in the order Atika Kadisha, Chakal Tapuch, and Kadishin, Uzer Ampin, every meal has a different order of the things because it's based on the level of Shabbos Friday night and Shabbos day and Shabbos afternoon. There's 3 levels of Shabbos. There's Friday night level, the Shabbos day level, and then Shabbos afternoon mincha time level. So those are the 3 different things.
Can you get into the detail? Vaad, bum, and vo?
The main thing is not to be a bum. Could be vo and va, because vo is nekeva, that's one level in kedusha. Then vo is zachar, that's another level of kedusha. And then bam is because Shabbos afternoon we say Shabbosis kodshecha. Yenuchu bam because Shabbos afternoon there's 2 levels of Shabbos within Shabbos afternoon also.
If you just do all the 3 tefillot,
Do you have to daven again? No. But did you do it correctly? No. Again, some people say like this. Some people say Vay the whole time.
yeah.
Okay. Now it's an interesting thing. After Shemona Esrei Friday night, everybody says together Vayechulu. Okay? Now Vayechulu you have to say standing. Why do you say Vayechulu? Because the Gemara says that saying Vayechulu Friday night is a testimony that Hashem created heaven and earth. Vayechulu Shemayim v'aretz chol tzvam. And the din is by Eidim v'amdu shnei anashim. Witnesses has to be the testimony. Not nowadays the Chacham chain, but biblically in certain halachos, like capital punishment or whatever, it says v'amdu shnei anashim. So the Gemara learns out that you have to stand when you testify. In fact, you're not allowed to even write testimony. It says al pi shnei edim, has to be on the mouth. Therefore, according to halacha, you can't write it. Vaad Rabbonim, by monetary laws, they allowed it. But by normal testimony, you can't write testimony to Bais Din because the Torah says al pi shnei edim, has to be by the mouth. And therefore you can't text it, you can't have an interpreter. Therefore the big Bais Din, some of them had to know all languages. Because if a witness is going to come and go through an interpreter, that he's not hearing it from the horse's mouth, like they say, he's not listening to it from the Edom itself. Okay, so anyway, so therefore Vayechulu, everybody says standing. Why do we say Vayechulu? We just said it in the Shemona Esrei. What do you say it again for? And then we make it again by Kiddush. So the reason is because it's very interesting the way halacha works. Because when Yom Tov falls out on Friday night, you don't say Vayechulu in the Shemona Esrei. The Yom Tov Shemona Esrei, you add the Shabbos additions, but there's no Vayechulu Hashmayim v'aretz. And there's a reason for it, but let's get to this point. So there's no Vayechulu when Yom Tov is Shabbos. So then you're not going to be saying Vayechulu. So therefore we say it after the Shemona Esrei. But not to differentiate between one Shabbos and the next, so we say it every single Shabbos. That's the halachic reason why we say Vayechulu Friday night, twice. Now we go home and we say it a 3rd time by Kiddush. So why do we say it 3rd time by Kiddush? For the family members that weren't in shul, the women or kids that weren't in shul, so now they have to hear it. So you say it 3 times. But the minhag is, if a guy is davening himself, he also says it 3, he lives alone, he says it 3 times anyway, even though there's nobody to say it with. Yeah, it's said the 3 times for the family. So one time is in the Shemona Esrei, one time is because when Yom Tov falls on Shabbos, we don't say. That's the main reason why we say Vayechul after davening, even though we just said it.
Usually when you do Kiddush with wine, you certify that matter. For wedding.
You what?
Yeah, whatever you do.
No.
The Kiddush makes it, certifies the event. So you, then Shabbat, when you say do Kiddush and you say Vayechulu, you certify that Hashem created the
Yeah, but you did it already twice.
But with wine. Before you didn't do it with wine.
You don't have to sanctify God created heaven and earth with wine. The Kiddush has to be with wine. But not the testimony. The main Kiddush is not Vayechulu. If somebody says Kiddush without Vayechulu Friday night, they still did the Kiddush. The Yaitze Kiddush. They said Beri Pri Agafen, and the last bracha, they were Yaitze Kiddush. But the minhag is you say it. Again, even if you live alone, you still say it. Yeah. So So then you say Vayechulu, and it should be said. Now there's an interesting minute you'll notice a lot of people do. What happens is they finish one Esrei later than everybody else. They'll call over somebody else to say Vayechulu with them. So why do you do that? For the same reason. Because testimony, you need two witnesses. If you say by yourself, it's only one witness. So you say with somebody else, then you have two witnesses. But in the Chassidish world, they don't do it. They say by themselves without getting somebody else involved. Because again, it's Vayechulu, testimony that Hashem created heaven and earth. Okay, okay, but that's it. Okay,